meeting of the Losers Club has officially begun.
Oh, look at these guys.
Quickly after the success of the retroactively titled It Chapter 1, its sequel became hotly awaited by myself and many others. And upon said sequel's release, it was met with less than positive reviews, with the best describing it as a fitting companion piece for those who enjoyed the original, and at worst it was called an overbearing slog doing nothing more than repeat the themes of the first film.
Fuck you!
I saw It Chapter 2 opening night after a double screening of the film paired with It Chapter 1. And whether that be hype or whatever you want to call it, I really enjoyed the film and got quite a good kick out of it. Oblivious to the, at best, lukewarm response to the film,
You hate my endings too?
I took a second trip to it, and after one more viewing later down the line, I've come to this conclusion. It may just be one of my favourite films of the year. Not the best, but by far one of my personal favourites. Initially for this video, my aim was going to be to explore how the writing during the restaurant scene personifies how great and engaging the cast and character dynamics were throughout the entire film. But after reading a quote in the screenwriting book story, it only resurfaced some of the major flaws I found in the script of this film.
What the fuck are you laughing at?
The quote is as followed. In essence, the protagonist creates the rest of the cast. All other characters are in a story first and foremost because of the relationship they strike to the protagonist and the way they help delineate the dimensions of the protagonist's complex nature. And my thesis was going to surround how, as this is an ensemble film, each of the 6 protagonists in the film help to reflect different attributes of each other's characters. For example, Eddie arguably provokes generally comedic Witzy's sensitive side, and how Witzy is implied to have feelings for Eddie after he died. I say arguably due to this attribute of Witzy's personality, like some other attributes to other characters, being wildly underdeveloped. This is similar to how Eddie and Beverly both end up marrying people that are identical to their parents, being completely forgotten about after one scene. That's such an interesting setup that's just never brought up again. I'm not saying the film should have ditched its plot to solely focus on those, as it is quite hard for me to tell a 3-hour film that it needs more content. But if this film is about trauma, which it does seem to be about, then why not develop the fact that 2 of your characters are so traumatized by their parents that they end up marrying them? That's just fucking interesting. This movie serves to be an excellent example of when a mediocre film somehow connects with me on some wild level, which can be quite difficult to explain. My initial thoughts were to try and find some deep, pretentious reason to why I love this film so much, but I just don't think I can. So yes, the nearly 3-hour runtime is excessive, and yes, it can also feel like a rehash of the first film, but contrary to those 3 hours, in my opinion, being far too long for a horror film in general, this film does an excellent job at keeping me engaged the entire time, and honestly, I think that comes down to one thing: the cast and the brilliant way they are written together.